My name is Reg Baker, and I'm Executive Director of MRII, and I'm here with Jeffrey Henning, who is the incoming president of MRII, but also the founder, I guess, and CEO of ResearchScape International. So earlier we talked about questionnaire design. When I was back at NORC, I had the privilege to work with a fellow named Paul Sheetsley, who not a lot of people know that name, but did a lot of work early on with Gallup, and was just one of the unsung founders, really, of the industry. And Paul used to say that for a good survey, you needed three things. You needed a good sample. You needed a well-trained interviewer, which we've kind of done away with. And you really need a really good questionnaire. I think, when you look at the recent history of market research, you could say that one of the biggest challenges we face now is the whole sampling issue and the loss of probability sampling as a common tool that we're accustomed to. So we're now in a mode where, I saw somebody speaking at a conference a couple of years ago and said, used the word probability sampling and said, well, whatever that means in 2015, and I wanted to stand up and scream, it means the same thing as in 1995. You see a way out of this? I mean, let's...
Well, I don't think the situation is as dark as you're painting, because we can do probability sampling for our e-commerce clients. And you think about the MRII itself, all of our students have taken the class online. So unlike a retail store, we know who our students are, and we can do a probability sample, of that list, understanding some of the issues with the list. But I have many e-commerce clients where we're able to do great probability sampling research. The challenge is for all the people whose clients are not all direct relationships, they're offline. For those or for public opinion research, where now you have to model the population, because you can't just randomly invent a phone number, call it, and then ask how many people live in the household, and then do the math to know what the odds were you got that person. And where we really find it challenging with online research is there's a group of people that just don't like to take surveys. They tend to be less educated. And so surveys that need to reach that audience typically underrepresent them. If you need to do surveys, we've done surveys with senior citizens on healthcare. You can't assume that the people who are 65 plus taking your survey are representative of people 65 plus, because there are certain people who have been very comfortable adopting the internet, and there's another group that doesn't use the internet at all, and yet people are taking that sample and extrapolating it to all of them. So unfortunately, you have to use quota sampling, you have to develop models, and for most commercial clients, they're researching things that aren't researched enough for them to do any of that. So they tend to follow sampling practices in the hope that they make things better. So they might use quota sampling, they might apply weighting, which there hasn't really been research to say you should weight a non-probability sample, but most people will weight the non-probability sample in the belief that it makes it better. And so on that end, I think there's lots of challenges. And I think at one of the conferences where you and I were attending, you said the problem with just saying there's no theory, but it's just empirical and empirical evidence, is that there's no guarantee that that next survey you do is going to live up to the empirical evidence.
So one of the things that disturbs me about this is that when people talk about sample quality, it's as if they redefined it as something much different than what I would think of as sample quality. I mean, I think of sample quality as a statement about how well it represents the target population. That's the definition in my mind. And yet we've all become distracted by all this stuff about bots and cheaters and all this sort of thing. There seems to be some research, or speeders, in other words, seems to be some research to show, with the exception maybe of bots who could in fact destroy your survey, the rest of these behaviors really don't occur at a level of incidence that's a real concern. In other words, they don't really change the results. They don't really change the decision that you might suggest your client take as a result of the work that you've done for them. And would you concur with that this is overblown?
Well, Pete Cape, one of our authors, has written a great paper for Research Now SSI on looking at different behaviors in respondent behaviors in surveys. And he basically has a 2 strikes you're out policy. You can be a speeder. If you threw out all the speeders, you're going to lower the representativity of the data. However, if they're speeding and straight lining, then they should be thrown out. So he's got different metrics that he uses, but everyone's entitled to a lapse of attention while taking a survey. And if you're over zealous in terms of removing those people, you're actually introducing your own bias. So his 2 strikes you're out paper is something that we follow when we do survey research. The challenge is always, we're using imperfect samples on the B2B side. The challenge for us is getting, 100 e-commerce execs. So it has to be presented as a convenient sample, and yet people want to say, well, what's the margin of error around that? And so because people see political polls, which can be done at a high level of rigor, they don't realize that often for the things that they're researching, you can't do it at that level of rigor. And so you have to be more skeptical about interpreting the results because of sampling quality.